All right, another one from the local sale I picked up. This one is a PAL 201 BDX bass. A PAL, little small guy, but it's actually got one, I think it's a 12JU6 driving two 8950 tubes in it. So it's one driving two. This one got standby on the left, main power on off in the middle, and high and low power on the right switch. It did have a receive preamp in it, but it was marked with a note that the receive preamp and the relay was jacked up and it needed a relay in parts. And I looked inside, and this here mess here was the relay and the little terminal strip that the parts for the preamp were mounted on. All that goes to the preamp, the relay and all the components there. And I'm like, I ain't messing with that for just a preamp on the amp. So on this one, that preamp is bypassed. Took all this out and just used a straight wire across. So preamp does nothing. It's just basically straight in and straight out with a straight wire. And then that's the caps in it that I replaced. It had 30 UF 500 volts, but I put in, I believe, like 100 UF 450 volts. The power supply runs on 800 volts, so two of them in series would give me 900 volts. So I still almost got a little bit of safety margin. One thing I noticed about these caps is it's 65 degrees. That's pretty low for a cap. Most of them are 80, 85, and then a high temperature one will give you like 105. And I did put high temperature caps in there, the 105s over there. So it's got new caps in it. If you can see that straight wire on across the relay, this is the main relay for the power and antenna changeover. And what happens was when you turn this one was in there, and when you turn it on, it's instead of that straight wire, it sends the receive through this amplifier and through this relay when you had a preamp on. And it was in there looking all junky like that, and I'm like, I'm not messing with that. So the preamp has been bypassed, and since I have it off, this one has a regular tuning load over here. They call the tune the plate, like plate tune, and then antenna here for antenna load. Basically, that is kind of labeled correct. A lot of people don't know that the one that's usually marked tune, it tunes the plate of the tubes. It they do interact with each other, but the tune basically tunes the tubes, and the load, which that normally is marked is load instead of antenna, tunes the antenna. So tune tunes the tubes, that's a tongue twister, and load tunes the antenna, even though they do interact with each other, but that's the way it really works. I think some Black Cat amps, if you know using the same tube all the time and you're only using one band, like let's say 11 meters, you could put a fixed capacitor in there, because you putting in the same tube over and over again. So if it needs let's say 50 picofarads to tune up, then you can put a fixed capacitor in there if you're not going too far up and down the band. And that's what a lot of Black Cats do. It's in there, it's just not variable for the tune or the plate. This adjustment over here is the driver tune. And this nut here kind of tightens it down so it doesn't wiggle around. It locks it in place once you get it tuned right. If you want to tune it, you loosen the nut and get your screwdriver, a long one, because be careful, plate voltage is lurking around there and don't want nobody to die. And you tune the driver tune. A lot of people ask, what do you tune first? How do you do it, in what order? It's not that important, but what is important, you do it quickly, because if the tubes are mistuned, all that power that should be going out, you know, to your antenna or dummy load or whatever you're using, is feeding back and going into the tubes. It's the same as having a high SWR. All them watts are feeding back. So it's important to tune it quickly to get those watts going out. And also the order I do it is I do the tune or plate first to get the power out the tubes, on the output tubes. I do the tune first, and then I do the load or the antenna next. I do them a couple times, and once I get them going, if it has a driver tune or both a driver tune and load, then I go back to the driver. And once I get that going, I just, you know, keep going in a circle, all three of them. Tune, load, and driver tune. This one does not have an input SWR, and if I were tuning, I'd do that last. And then once I do that, I do go back and retune everything. But anyway, I guess that's enough talking about all that. We're going to turn it on and let it warm up right quick. That's the two 8950s on this side, the one driver tube. Main power transformer, pretty simple. High voltage power supply. The antenna, the key-in circuit on that terminal strip, the antenna relay behind it, low voltage power supply, and that's basically it to these amps. A grounded grid design there. Same old trusty Motorola radio, doing about 4 watts, swinging about 10 average, maybe 15 peak, somewhere around there, depending on how much junk I got in line. So hopefully it's warmed up, and hopefully I haven't hit anything or mistuned it. And we're on the 200 watt scale. And on the high side, we're going to fire it down. Audio. Yeah, it's creeping up there. Do a little more once it gets a little hotter. Audio. Oh, trying to tune it up a little bit. No, that's about all we getting. Audio. Doing about 85. When I had it actually tuned and peaked up right, I was dead keen about 100, swinging about a 125. Probably if I played with it a little bit more, I probably could get it back up there on average. I'm gonna put it on the low side. Audio. Dead keen about 45. Whistling to 100. Got forward swing on the low side. Audio, if I was going to run it, that's probably where I would run it. And then let's do peak watts. We're still on low. Audio, about 125, 120 from about 50. Hello, about to about 130 now. And last on high side on peak. Audio, a little over 150. And like I say, if I tuned it up a little more and all that, I could get about 190 peak out of it. But that's all I'm getting out of it. All it do, you know, 2 output tubes, close to 100 peak a tube. Not quite, but like I said, I could tune it up a little bit more. But mic in one hand, a camera in another. Hard to tune that thing while I'm doing that. Tram Doctor only got 2 hands. It only can do 2 things at once. But anyway, I just wanted to show the basic operation of this amp anyway. Alright, that's it for this one. Camera going dead anyway. Bye.